The referee blows the whistle. It's all over. Kilkenny are the All-Ireland Senior Camogie champions for the first time since 1994.
Last year we were going for 3 in a row, and it was very, very different. This year it was back to basics. You know, we had to start from scratch again, you know, and you know, we're trying to build ourselves up now for the game on Sunday. It's a totally different angle this year, and look, the team we're facing, Kilkenny, they're an excellent team, and look, we're just hoping to go up and do our best and have a cut on the day.
There isn't really pressure on us. Like, yeah, we're the favourites, but I think we're all just so looking forward to now. Look, we've won one. The only thing we can do now is try and win another one. Against Dublin in the semi-final, we knew it was going to be a hard game, but it opened us up that we needed to look at other parts of our game and that we needed to strengthen certain things. So I think we've been working on it pretty well over the last few weeks. So hopefully now on the big day we'll see.
Brilliantly taken, superbly done by Orla Cotter, advancing. This is dangerous. And it trickles in over the goal line, and Cork have got a second goal.
I suppose we had a 5-week layoff before the Galway game, and to get a good tough game was, you know, very important. You know, I suppose it certainly would, I suppose, you know, aid your preparation heading into a final, and it was, I suppose, good to get a good stern test from a very good Galway team. And like I say, we're just delighted to have got over it.
I think that we always raise our game, like I said, for Cork. They've won so much over the few years. We've seen them in action so many times. They're like a machine when they go. So you have to try and just stop them from getting into their flow, because when they do, they're just so hard to stop.
They play slightly different to the way Galway would have played in the semi-final, you know. You know, they can be quite defensive at times, but then I suppose they break at pace and they're very dangerous in attack, you know. So I suppose it's a different type of game. And I suppose as well we've met each other more regularly over the last couple of years, so I suppose we know each other a bit better as well. So I suppose that just means I suppose things will be tight out in the field, and look, I don't think there'll be much in it.
It's not going to be pretty. I don't think to win any game, it's just pure doggedness, I think, that we're going to need on the day. You know, like sometimes things aren't going to work out. Like it didn't against times. We could have had, you know, a lot more scores than we did. And it's not always going to work out for us, but I think the sign of a good team is to be able to pull out the hard battles and to try and come over the line when it is a real dogfight. And I think it will be, especially in the middle of the field and the half-back line there for ourselves. I think it's going to be rucks and developing and hard hits going in. So it probably won't be pretty to look at, but if you win, you don't care what it looks like, really.
Kilkenny have been a little bit ahead of us there, you know, last year and this year, but look, I mean, we're going up there obviously to do our very best, and please God, things will work out well for us.
Well, here come the Cork women out onto the pitch. There could be one very interesting change to their side. We'll get confirmation of it in a little while. Kilkenny, the defending champions, of course, looking to make it 2 in a row. And of course, All-Ireland final day is always a particularly special one for the captains involved. Rena Buckley, whom we just saw, and Anna Farrell, are looking to follow in some legendary footsteps.
I used to think I'd love someday to be standing up with the All-Ireland Cup and saying Tá áthas an dair nóra an corran seo a gháil le haidh blá clear. Má chomhaird agus do éidirma. Cleiche topic sportúil a bhí ann. I used to dream of this, and I never thought I'd see the day. And then I say, ach bé lá eile a gcuibh. So I got my secret wish.
Very few counties get to an All-Ireland, and to have the opportunity to lead your team out to Croke Park and out behind the R10 boys band is a dream come true, really, yeah. I used to delay going up the steps and savour the moment, and even going around in the parade, I used to always kind of say, well, this is an opportunity you may not get again in your lifetime, so savour it and just take it all in, soak it in and enjoy it to the last. When you get up there looking down on the crowd and trying to pick out your family or friends, and, you know, it's just brilliant. It's just, I can't put it into words. It's just magic.
The holders trying to retain their title. The captain of Cork, Linda Mellerick.
Privately, I used to visualise lifting the O'Duffy Cup. I visualised the final whistle blowing, going up to receive the cup, and when I actually did it, it was like deja vu. I had seen it all in my mind, and it was exactly as I imagined it.
And referee blows the final whistle. Cork do the 2 in a row. The O'Duffy Cup is going back to the banks of the league.
I was fortunate enough to captain Cork to 2 All-Irelands, but 93 in particular, the first one. You know, I remember we were comfortable enough in the last couple of minutes, and when the final whistle blew, you know, I'm getting goose pimples even thinking of it. I can still remember it. It was probably the most magical moment you'll ever have.
Mary Lacey is the team captain from Aula the Balla.
I have to say it's an unbelievable experience. When the minute the whistle went, it was just an unbelievable feeling. I remember our manager Stella, I remember running over to Stella and giving her a big hug and just looking out into the crowd. I think that particular year there was nearly 30,000 people. It was probably the biggest attendance at any All-Ireland Camogie final to date. I remember when I did have the opportunity to lift O'Duffy, I think I went a bit crazy, but it just showed how much it meant to me and to all of Wexford.
Just a little bit crazy. Now, if that doesn't make the hairs in the back of your neck stand up, I don't know what will. Of course, Anna Geary knows exactly what that feeling is as well. But who's going to follow in those footsteps? We'll have to wait a couple of hours to find out. Plenty of changes to the teams in the build-up today. So let's join our commentator now for this Senior All-Ireland final, Marty Morrissey, to see who both sets of managements have decided upon.
Thank you very much, Joanne. This is the Cork team that we think will start, but don't be surprised if there are changes. Goalkeeper Aoife Murray has been 6 times an All-Star, which not only clearly indicates her ability and agility between the posts, but also indicates her gravitas in the game of camogie. From Douglas comes Pamela Mackey, who will play at right corner back. The team captain is the outstanding Rena Buckley, who will play at full-back as she seeks her record-breaking 18th All-Ireland senior medal between camogie and football. Completing the line is Killa's Laura Tracy. And this is where it gets interesting. Right now, we believe that Gemma O'Connor is out with a knee injury, so consequently, Maeve Cahalan gets a call up and comes into the Cork defensive wing back. Aisling Thompson, we believe, will move to from centre field to centre back, while Chloe Sigerson gets the number 7 jersey to complete the line. But don't be surprised if there are changes. Libby Coppinger has been really establishing herself in 2017 as a first-choice midfielder. The UCC student plays with St. Columb's, and today will be joined by Ballinhassig's Emer O'Sullivan, who moves from right half back to the middle of the pitch. Amy O'Connor has massive potential, and Cork will hope today she's in the form of her life where she'll really sparkle at number 10. Orla Cronin will wear number 11, while Orla Cotter is a brilliant player who always has the potential to be the match winner on any given Sunday. Hannah Looney from Killa will start at top of the right, while Niamh McCarthy has awesome ability when it comes to scoring goals. She's at the edge of the square, while wearing number 15 is somebody who equally has an eye for goals. It's Pamela Mackey's twin sister, Katrina Mackey. Emma Kavanagh is the Kilkenny goalkeeper and has once again proven this championship season why she is the reigning All-Star goalkeeper. She's been excellent, and she's from Rory Nistig. Our right corner back will be Catherine Foley, although I expect her to swap with this player, Davina Tobin, once the ball is thrown in. Grace Walsh is sister of the famous Tommy and Porrick Welch, and she's been given the number 4 jersey for this All-Ireland Senior Camogie final. Claire Phelan from Lisdowney comes into the team at number 5, where she'll operate beside one of the best in the game, Anne Dalton. Aisling Dunphy is a student in NUIG, but she's established herself over the last few seasons as a top-notch wing back. It's a family affair in the middle of the field for Kilkenny. It's the Farrell sisters. Megan at number 8, and Anna will wear the number 9 jersey. Adding to Anna's responsibility today is the fact that she's the Kilkenny captain. At right half forward will be Mullinavat's Julianne Malone. This will be her 2nd season on the Kilkenny senior team, while Piltown's Katie Power will lead the attack at 11. All-Star 2016 Denise Gall will ask serious questions of the Cork defence. There's another Farrell on the team, another sister Shelley, who scored a cracking goal in last year's final. At the edge of the square will be Miriam Walsh, cousin of cornerback Grace, while at top of the left will be 17-year-old Danielle Morrissey from Connahy Shamrocks. In charge are 2 top-class managers. Anne Downey, brilliant player, All-Ireland winner 12 times and now All-Ireland winning manager. And of course, in the other side, Cork's Paddy Murray, who knows exactly what it takes to win All-Ireland titles.
First news, Gemma O'Connor. play.
But Jimmy will tug out, but we'll see how things go, you know. You never know, we might be up 3 goals at the end and she might get her run out. But we'll just see how the warm-up goes.
Sure, but she's not starting, no?
No.
Okay. How do you view Kilkenny today now? You're a bit harsh on them, I suppose, at the end of the semi-final, had a little pop at them. How do you think they're going to face out today?
I didn't have a pop off them really. I think that's the way they play, and I've always said they played very, very well, hit teams on the counter and have been very successful at that. So, you know, we'd probably have to do much the same and just shut up shop and hope that, you know, it'll be a tight game and that we come out on top.
Sure. They're quite a defensive side. I mean, when you saw that Anna Dalton was the player of the match in that semi-final, that's what you're going to have to try and counteract today, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely, and look, try to keep the ball away from her and as much as possible, because look, when she gets the ball, we're in trouble.
Well, Anne, here you go again, facing Cork for a second year in a row. I suppose you obviously had watched the tapes before this game. What did you make of their semi-final victory then over Galway?
You know, like ourselves, I suppose we did the job on the day, to be honest. I suppose semi-finals are for winning and getting to an All-Ireland, both teams there now, and, you know, it's a 50-50 game, to be quite honest.
Yeah. How's your squad? How's the build-up been for you?
The build-up has been good, yeah. Training quite intense, 1 or 2 injuries, but everyone is ready to go today, so looking forward to it.
Yeah, so no changes in your starting 15 then, no?
None at the moment, anyway. Yeah.
What's the story then, you think, about the fact that they're missing Gemma O'Connor? Does that, a 7-time All-Star, does that change anything for you?
No, to be quite honest, I think that Gemma will play today, and we've been gearing our training towards Gemma being on the field. She's a great warrior. I think it, you know, unless she's after losing a leg, it's the only reason that Gemma wouldn't play, and we fully expect to see her there today. Sure.
The conditions out there, a little windy, a bit of swirling out there, that's going to make a difference, of course, in this game, isn't it?
Probably make it a little bit difficult for free takers and that, but sure, whether it's the same for both teams, I suppose it's whichever team will manage it the best on the day.
Right here live, we have Anna Farrell, the captain of Kilkenny, introducing the President of Ireland, Michael D. Higgins, to the Kilkenny Camogie team. Just ending there with Danielle Morrissey, who's just 17 years of age, playing in her very first All-Ireland final. And of course, the referees and the umpires, it's a big day for them as well, and marvellous occasion for themselves and their families. And Michael D. Higgins, such a welcome visitor here to Croke Park on All-Ireland final day. It is pouring out of the heavens here in Croke Park. Responsibility now will go to Rena Buckley, captain of Cork, as she introduces Aoife Murray, Pamela Mackey. Also there, of course, is Laura Tracy, Emer O'Sullivan, and Gemma O'Connor is in the lineup, and that is sensational news. That is the news that we believe will happen, that she will actually play in this All-Ireland final. Chloe Sigerson will there beside her, and also there number 10 is Amy O'Connor. About to be introduced is Orla Cronin and Orla Cotter. Gemma O'Connor, who was out with a knee injury in that second half of the semi-final against Galway, will in fact, I think, play, considering the pictures we're seeing here. And of course, Neil McCarthy is full 14, and big shake hands for Rena Buckley, the captain, as she bids for a record-breaking 18th All-Ireland medal. I'm sure the President of Ireland is well aware of that. As he waves to the crowd, it is windy, it is terrible here in Croke Park at the moment. We're having a terrible, terrible shower and making conditions very difficult. And large crowd here gathered. They're hoping that it's going to be one of the biggest crowds. We'll give you the facts of that about later on. But the rain is now turning to sleet here in Croke Park as it pours down here. And we're over in the far side, by the way, from the normal position. Our camera position here is the Cusick stand. And as the handshakes now happens here, last year there was a little incident between the Kilkenny and Cork player, but this time, thankfully, well done in a sporting manner. Kilkenny, Cork shaking hands, and we're all set for the All-Ireland Senior Camogie final.
Yeah, we are, and looking forward to it very much so. Elaine Aylward, we heard Anne Downey there say that, and even after Cork had continued to insist that Gemma O'Connor wouldn't be starting, her famous words, unless she's after losing a leg, we're expecting her to play.
Yeah, I suppose, look, Paddy and Anne would have gotten to know one another as much as the rivalries over the last couple of years, and Anne was probably always going to be prepared for it. I mean, the rumours were rife all week, and it was will she, won't she, will she, won't she. And look, I don't think anyone is surprised to see her line out, and I hope from Cork's point of view it doesn't backfire from them. Like, if she's lining out, you'd like to see her be able to complete the full hour,
and let them go at 15 on 15, the two best teams.
Anna, you were watching her in the warm-up, and it sounded like you weren't overly convinced about how fit she is.
Well, I suppose it was just one of the things, the drills that she was doing, she just seemed to be, I suppose, she was going around the cones but at a much slower pace, and I suppose that she's probably wary of it too. And you know, this is Gemma's 13th final. This is the part she comes into her own, I suppose, as a Cork person. To be seeing her playing, it's what Cork need. But now it's about getting on with the game and putting all of the, I suppose, the dramatics and all the tactics and all the, you know, yes, no's aside. And so this is really where it starts. And I'm personally delighted to see her play, because a girl of her calibre deserves to be playing, having given everything all year.
I think everyone would be delighted to see her play, apart from maybe the Kilkenny team.
Except Elaine Edwards.
But she's such a powerful player. She's so skillful. She commands her position. And it makes for great viewing, so it's great that she's on the field.
It changes everything as well, doesn't it? What way do we expect it? It's going to be tactical. We know that, even more so, I think, than usual in these games. Elaine, which way is it going to pan out?
That's why I think Kilkenny actually might be slightly pleased that Gemma is playing. I mean, you know how Cork are going to play when Gemma is playing. If Gemma wasn't there, you're looking at Emer Sullivan in the middle of the field, Maeve Callahan going back, Aisling Thompson gone back to centre back. It's a Cork that Kilkenny would be less familiar with. So now that Gemma is there, I suppose Anne and Kilkenny, Anne had said it in her interview there, they've been training as if Gemma is there. So they know what way Cork is going to line up, so they're going to line up there.
In one word, who's going to win, Aisling?
Kilkenny.
Anna?
Come back to me at half-time.
No, one word.
She doesn't do one word.
You know what? With Gemma, Cork.
You're going Kilkenny, Elaine?
Kilkenny.
OK, well, they are nearly finished their parade, so let's head over to our commentary team for this one. Jill Horan is with Marty.
There is undoubtedly a growing rivalry and an increase in tension between these two teams. You might recall, of course, the Cork were going for 3 in a row last year, and also a record-breaking 27th All-Ireland title, only for Kilkenny, who hadn't won an All-Ireland in 22 years, to arrive on the scene and upset the party. What's worse, Kilkenny intend to stay around as they subsequently beat Cork again in this year's league final. So this All-Ireland final now has a serious edge. You might recall that we got a hint of that last year, that shake hands between, incident between Hannah Looney and Colette Dormer, only to get the little handshake and the little dunt was responded with a quick push. All that is last year. And over the last 12 months, of course, the Camogie Association and RTE Sport have also extended their very good relationship this summer, as we televised live for the first time the quarterfinals as well as the semi-finals and finals. Last year's audience for the final peaked at 328,000 people. So this year, more than ever, Camogie is reaching out and being viewed all over the world. And we welcome you no matter where you're watching this All-Ireland final. Jill Horan, All-Ireland winner herself and All-Star, former Tipperary captain, joins me for the commentary. Delighted. Jill.
Thank you very much, Marty.
What do you make of the changes, and particularly as we look at Brian Cody there, looking at his match programme, the fact that Toddy Murray really went into the world of mental games, mind games, and picking Gemma O'Connor right now?
Yeah, it was a difficult one to call all week. All the rumours were having that she was going to play, and then she wasn't playing, and you know, even part of the RT, we were given a team that actually had her in starting, and then we were given a subsequent team without her in it. So, you know, are we surprised to see her starting? No, I wouldn't be surprised. I think if she was missing a leg, she'd still try and play. Gemma's a leader from the very start, and she'd be absolutely thrilled to be out here today. Is she at 100%? Probably not. You can see that she's heavily bandaged up. Will that affect her game? Well, Gemma sits back a lot. You know, she lets the rest of the defenders go in, and she mops up an awful lot. So, you know, will it affect her play a small bit? But, you know, I don't think it will do that much.
I'm not too sure about the purpose of the mind games, though, Jill, because everybody around Croke Park, and indeed last night, there was serious rumours, to say the least, that Gemma would be playing. And I met members of the Callahan family, and they told me that Maeve wasn't playing. So it was kind of well known, I think.
Yeah, I think it was, and I met a few people from Cork earlier this morning, and they all kind of knew that she was going to play. I don't know what the secrecy was. I'd say Toddy probably wanted to see how she got on in the warm-up this morning. She probably went out for a bit of a run around this morning before coming here to Croke Park, and again out here just before the match, you could see her getting a nice warm-up. So I'd say he probably wanted to have her do a good warm-up and then maybe make the decision. But I think that it was always in the back of his mind that he was always going to play her.
Absolutely. Well, it's still good to see Gemma O'Connor playing, and of course that's what it's all about, the O'Duffy Cup. And for Cork captain Rena Buckley, she could become the very first person ever in the GA world to captain teams in 2 codes to winning All-Ireland. She's already done it in ladies football, and today, if she captains Cork to the Camogie title, well then history will be made. And for Kilkenny, of course, winning this afternoon and captained by Anna Farrell will also mean the first back-to-back All-Ireland titles since the great team of 1985 to 1991, who actually won 7 All-Irelands in a row. Final moment before this All-Ireland final, Cork and Kilkenny. They met in the 2014 final, Cork won. They met in the 2016 All-Ireland final, Kilkenny won. They met in this season's league. The floodlights are now on after that torrential rain of hailstone and strong winds. Cork doing their final warm-ups here in front of us. We're over at the Cusack stand with our cameras looking into the Hogan stand. Big crowd over there as we look across. Kilkenny in a huddle just to our immediate right. And this is a big moment for them. Can they achieve, as such, 3 victories in a row over Cork? They're great rivals. We have it, of course, in the men's game, Cork and Kilkenny. We certainly have it in Camogie over the years. And Anne Downey has done a tremendous job in this Kilkenny team. She won 12 All-Ireland medals herself, but certainly since taking charge of the Cats, they're playing with a new style, new purpose, great focus and great passion.
They absolutely are. I think their backline has been fantastic all year, really defensive, you know, and Dalton being the captain of it at back there, and then they're moving at pace out into the forward line and getting good scores. In the semi-final, Katie Power came off a half-time. It'll be interesting to see how she gets on now today. Is that injury going to affect her at all?
So the scene is set. I believe that Jim O'Connor-Jill will play midfield with Emer O'Sullivan going back into her position. Pamela Mackey, I think, will play centre back, but you'll spot that quicker than me now. As we look at the referee, Owen Elliott from the County Antrim. The man in charge of the 2017 All-Ireland Senior Camogie Final, Cork and Kilkenny. Cork won the toss. They're playing from right to left as we look at it, which means Aoife Murray will go down to the hill 16 goals, and Emma Kavanagh will take up the position down at the Davin end.
It actually looks like Gemma's gone out to the wing with Pamela Mackey gone centre back. Emer Sull and Aisling Thompson gone into midfield.
So Emer O'Sullivan and Aisling Thompson in midfield for Cork. The mind games continues, but most importantly, the game starts. Away we go. First onto the ball is centre half forward Katie Power, sending it over to that far side, and Cork will want to settle quickly. This is the hard-working Libby Coppinger, who seems to have taken up the right corner back, or at least the wing back position. Will clarify shortly as the game progresses. As Cork go into the attack for the very first time. Centre half forward laying it back. Aisling Thompson is available. Chloe Sigerson playing it short into the centre for Emer O'Sullivan, who knocks it away. 2 Cork players are available. One, however, superbly, as Kilkenny go back into the attack. First ball down towards full forward Miriam Walsh. Rena Buckley stays with her. Quick hands again. Cork coming forward. Laura Tracy just barely getting her fingertips to it is Pamela Mackey. No free given, says the referee. Comes back again for us Laura Tracy. Laura swings it into the centre over towards Chloe Sigerson. Chloe from Killa, midfield in the intermediate team last year. Drives it into the Cork attack as they try and create the first opportunity. in this All-Ireland final. Orla Cronin giving it back for his Katrina Mackey. Mackey gets away from the shackles of the Kilkenny defence, but sends the ball the wrong side of the post and wide.
That was good play from Cork. Like, they really worked the ball up from their defence, and there was a hard shot now.
Goalkeeper Emma Kavanagh going to take her first puck out of the afternoon. 5th year as Kilkenny goalkeeper, All-Star goalkeeper 2016. Really has a star between the posts for the Black and Amber. Once again, it's Emer O'Sullivan sending it into the space. And back to gather it is Grace Walsh from Tullaroan, sister of Tommy and Porrig. So the hurling and camogie DNA is very strong in that family, I can assure you. We all love the Walshes. As Cork come away with it. Good work here by Amy O'Connor. When she sparkles, so do Cork. Good block down on this occasion as Kilkenny playing with a very strong wind in this opening half. Cork deciding, interestingly, having won the toss, to play against it as we look at it here. Cork playing from right to left, and it's pretty ferocious in this opening half. In steps Orla Cotter, laying it off quickly. Opportunity here rests with Amy O'Connor. She hits the sliotar well, and with conviction between the posts. Cork are up and running in Croke Park.
That's a really good score from Amy O'Connor. Well worked in by Orla Cotter, dropped the hurley, passed it in, and really good score to get the Cork off and running now. And here comes the rain again.
So we fasten our safety belts here, Jill, and put down our notes and throw everything on top of them as the ball is pucked out. Aisling Thompson is battling hard. She comes away with it here. Milford Star. Like one of our analysts today, Anna Geary, getting it in for Niamh McCarthy. Good block down again. That's the second time we've seen Kilkenny defence being very strong in the tackle. A race for possession. Gone across is Jim O'Connor, battling hard with Denise Gall. Two very, very talented players. Ball goes out over the sideline. Sideline ball. This time it's going to Kilkenny. This is a great block down. One of the skills that we all love.
Yeah, Colette Dormer and Anne Dalton working very well there together. Colette is actually in instead of Claire Phelan, wing back, so Colette Dormer has gone in there now. I think
more changes.
Yeah, I think she's marking Katrina Mackey.
Ball becomes loose and available. It's picked up by Libby Coppinger, laying it off as Pamela Mackey from Douglas, outside of Cork City. Crossfield ball, good diagonal ball. Ball breaks inside for Orla Cronin. Stepping past the 20, heading towards the 13. Good defending again by Kilkenny. They just crossed the line a little bit. There was a little, says the referee Owen Elliott off camera, but I have to give credit to the Kilkenny defence. They're performing well, aren't they?
Yeah, really well. God, that was a soft enough free. I thought she held her up very well. You can see how defensive that's their midfielder Megan Farrell working her way back and helping out her defence, and God, that's a soft enough free, I thought.
I'd agree. So the free going to be taken by Orla Cotter, who scored a goal and 3 points against Galway.
Yeah, she had a really good game in the semi-final. She really stood up to the mark.
Taps this one gently over the bar. Cork up and running, and the Cork fans, one of the great supporters. It's Cork 2 points, Kilkenny no score. The wind's increasing in velocity around Croke Park, favouring Kilkenny in this first half, and certainly we've been here quite a lot during the summer and the autumn, but this is by far the worst day we've experienced so far. Hopefully the rain and the wind will blow the rain away as Cork go into the attack, and again, good play Kilkenny. Good interception, putting the ball into space. Not one, not two, but three Cork defenders available. Laura Tracy is one of them, giving it down for us Chloe Sigerson. Two Killer girls combining into the centre. Waiting for it is Libby Coppinger, who's Club Camogie with St. Cullum's and senior with Clonakilty. Cork will then go into the attack. Kilkenny, the All-Ireland champions, just a little bit slow to settle, but in this opening 6 minutes, it's their defence that are doing so well. Davina Tobin playing well, intercepting well.
There's no Kilkenny forward within 20, 30 metres of the Cork goal. You can see Aoife Murray has plenty of time. Kilkenny need to push up, have at least one forward.
They seem to have, their structure seems to have been upset by some of the changes, so maybe Tony Murray's plan is working, because so far it's Cork that are on a lot of ball. Well won by Chloe Sigerson, giving it over for Aisling Thompson, dropping it in. The goalkeeper comes off her line. That's Emma Kavanagh. Laurie Nishti, famous club made by a brilliant hurler, Eddie Kerr. I know is watching this afternoon. Nice little flick inside, just the first touch. Again was a little bit poor, and it's again two Cork players that come around, Orla Cotter and Aisling Thompson. Cork settling fast. It's Katrina Mackey. Look at that for speed. Uses the short grip and just sends it outside the post. Should have been and could have been a score, and Katrina, more than anybody else, knows it.
Yeah, that's her second wide now of the day. She's very disappointed she didn't get that one. She showed her pace there.
She's causing problems though, Chill, isn't she?
Yeah, she really is. Yeah, she really is. She uses her pace very well, and that's very unlike her now to be missing those two scores.
Emma Kavanagh decides to go down the Hogan stand route. Batted away on this occasion. Davina Tobin gets a challenge in on Amy O'Connor. Sideline ball going to Cork. Emer O'Sullivan from Ballinhassig going to take this. O'Sullivan's in Ballinhassig, steeped in the GA. Dad John, chairman of the local club in the past, and of course Linda, sister, great hurler, great camogie player as well. Ball breaks into the middle, and Cork have the run of the sliotar in this opening few minutes. They're going for their third point, and that flies between the posts. Good score, and it's Amy O'Connor with her second point of the game.
Yeah, Amy's after getting a great start. She's really using her pace very well there. Even though Kilkenny had three around her, but they still couldn't catch her. Cork are doing well with the wind against their back. They really are. Yeah, they're settling very well into it.
They certainly told me on Lee's side that when Amy O'Connor sparkles, Cork usually also perform well. They're expecting a big game out of her, and so far she scored 2 out of the 3 Cork points.
Kilkenny really do need to get a score now to settle themselves.
On back is Jim O'Connor there, but again it's Cork defence and Aisling Thompson laying it off quickly. Ball not hit with any great direction. Comes up towards Hannah Looney, knocked away this time by Davina Tobin from the Emeralds Club. Kilkenny, 9.5 minutes almost gone, and yet to score, and in fact yet to threaten. They're finding it hard to get past the Cork 45-metre line.
Yeah, they're after getting a free there now, and a really good touch by Maria Walsh. Get the ball into her hand first time, and Cork player just put her arm, I'd say, around her neck more, so I'd say it slipped up, so it's free, an opportunity for now to Kilkenny to get on the score sheet now. We have a Kilkenny player down injured.
There seems to be a knee injury there.
I think it's Megan, yeah, Megan Farrell.
Yeah, it is Megan Farrell. Scored 2 points against Dublin, still a student in WIT. And of course the Farrells, 3 Farrell sisters playing, and John Joe, of course, is on the Kilkenny senior squad as well.
It's fantastic for a family to have three on it. And 3 great players. That's really well. They actually play very well together, and in the semi-final they scored, I think, like 3 points each, I think, between the 3 of them, so it's really good.
10.5 minutes gone. Is this the first score of the match for the All-Ireland champions? It is. Off the stick of Denise Cole from Wyngat, scoring Kilkenny's first score of the game. It took a while, and they haven't really threatened so far.
No, they can't get the ball past their half-forward line. They're pushing too deep. They need to push up a small bit, and they're ending up trying to have to travel with the ball on their stick, which hasn't worked for them.
The little one too that we see in hurling is now being used by Aoife Murray and Rena Buckley. It's the long ball which ultimately comes out here. Orla Cotter sending it back in. Dangerous ball. Emma Kavanagh comes off her goal line. Confident play by the goalkeeper, which is always an inspiration to her colleagues around her. Half blocked. Cork again. This time it's Laura Tracy. Giving it into the centre. Jim O'Connor going long. 9 times an All-Star. Referee felt that Cork were fouling. And Grace Walsh was being held back by Hannah Looney. So that's going to be a free for Kilkenny.
Yeah, I think Grace Walsh just got out in front of Hannah there and she kind of pulled her back a small bit. This will give Kilkenny now to get into Cork's half.
Picture there tells the story. The hats are on. And of course, hardly needed today as Kilkenny play with that wind advantage, but you have to say in the opening 12 minutes, Cork are the better team. 2 points in front. It's Orla Cronin sending this in. It's curling. Oh, that is a brilliant score from Inniskeen in West Cork. Orla Cronin scores an absolute beauty.
You actually don't know which way the wind is going. One way it's Kilkenny have the advantage, and you can see there that was helped over by the wind for Orla Cronin. Really good score.
Judging, I'm just looking while you were saying that down at the flags on pitch level, and they certainly seem to be favouring Kilkenny, Jill, in this opening half. But again, finding it difficult to get past the Cork half backline. Jim O'Connor, for as Libby Coppinger. Over for Emer O'Sullivan. Drives it into the space. Going across to gather it here is Grace Walsh. Tackled by Hannah Looney. The ball is still alive and well. Just didn't go out over the sideline. Good work on this occasion by Anne Dalton, who's been rock solid in this league and championship journey. She's been at centre back, but operating often as a sweeper. Over for Denise Cole. First All-Star last year. Superb player. Nice stick with him. Just unfortunate there that Shelley Farrell's Hurley got stuck. Back out for Denise Cole. And this time it's Cork's determination and focus in defence that wins that particular battle. Emer O'Sullivan goes down the long route. Once again, it's Davina Tobin. Great block down. It's been the feature of the first half, and both Kilkenny and Cork are producing it. This one going to have to be squeezed out. Comes back out as the ball is dropping in towards Aoife Murray. Uses her hurley. There's a high challenge on the keeper. And just a moment of anxiety in Cork, but Aoife Murray is a top-class goalkeeper with All-Ireland medals as the ball dropped in. This is some wonderful block down by Aisling Thompson.
Yeah, both defence are really tackling fierce. That's a really good block down. Davina Tobin was a bit far up from her own goal.
Yeah, she's certainly moving forward, Davina. Referee just telling Aoife Murray to take the free from inside the small rectangle. Aoife Murray is based here in Dublin. Wonderful catch. As Kilkenny, Denise Cole, fingertips just off the slither. Ball comes loose and available to Aisling Thompson. Comes back for Jim O'Connor. Uses a short grip, but the ball goes astray. Good work on this occasion by Aisling Dunphy from the St. Bridget's Club. As Kilkenny try to spread it wide, trying to open up this Cork defence. Good work here by Danielle Morrissey, her first All-Ireland final, just 17 years of age. That's the number 15, picked up on this occasion by Laura Tracy, helping out her defence, and the referee blows the whistle. And the determination by Cork, they're really out. They're not going to allow themselves to be beaten for the third time in 12 months. You can just see the reaction of Laura Tracy, who comes in here to gather the slither, comes away with it, head down, really determined, and when she gets the free, look at her reaction.
Yeah, they're really up for it this game. Really, really up for it now.
16 minutes gone in this All-Ireland final. Kilkenny have only managed 1 point, playing with a very strong wind advantage.
I'm finding it very difficult to score.
Very, I agree, Jill. As Cork at the other end, they're finding it relatively easy. Good play by, this time, Katrina Mackey. She's had 2 opportunities, third time lucky for her.
Yeah, that'll really settle her now. She had two bad wides out of her standards, and that was a really good score now to settle her down. But the scores are coming a lot easier for Cork. You know, Kilkenny have to work very hard, finding it very difficult to get past Cork's half-back line.
And to be fair, Jill, Kilkenny defence are working hard. There's lots of block downs, lots of hooks, but particularly block downs. But slowly, you can see the favouring Cork. It's evolving that way.
Yeah, it really is. You know, Kilkenny just need to push up. I think that their defence is, you know, is too deep. You know, they're leaving too much space between their half-forward and full-forward line, and they're just finding it very difficult to break that down and getting bodies inside. You can see inside the box there's only one player now in there now.
Denise Gall in by Shelley Farrell. She scored a cracking goal down at these goalposts last year, picked up on this occasion by Aisling Thompson. Just a little touch out as they come forward. It's Katrina Mackey who's gone deep inside her own half of the field to gather it. Cork playing against that strong wind. Comes down for Orla Cronin. Scored what I would suggest is the score of the game so far. Ball inside for Amy O'Connor, who scored twice. Amy under a little bit of pressure, and again compliments to the Kilkenny defence. They've conceded 5 times, but their work rate is impressive, and their block downs equally impressive. But Cork doing well. Great catch by Miriam Walsh. She won an All-Star midfield last year. Katie Powers without a hurley. Gathering it is Pamela Mackey, twin sister of Katrina, who's playing corner forward and has already scored a point. Gemma O'Connor showing some nice stick work. 2 players coming to stop her in her tracks. Emer O'Sullivan under a little bit of pressure. In comes Rena Buckley, the captain, kicking it forward, trying to push it as far into the Kilkenny half of the field. Cork captain is on the deck. On there with her, of course, is Anna Farrell. The 2 captains entangled. It's Kilkenny to come away with the ball just momentarily. Aisling Thompson, first time pulled by Denise Gall, works out all right for Kilkenny. Rena Buckley all over Kilkenny player, and that's going to be a free for Kilkenny just on the Cork 65-metre line.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty soft as well. I think the 2 Cork players held up the Kilkenny player, and the referee just indicating that Cork player had her around the neck. This will give Denise Gall, she has the wind at her back, so she would hope to use the wind now to get this over the bar.
Paddy Murray managing this team, and must be well pleased. And just a moment ago we saw the great Angela Downey, sister of Anne Downey, with the Bonine cap and a towel, trying to wipe the hurley for Denise Gall to take this free, because they're well aware that they need every score, because so far they're finding it difficult to find their momentum in this All-Ireland final. Heading towards 20 minutes and only 1 point on the scoreboard, and that's a free from this player. Oh.
Yeah, it looks like Cork has really done their homework and are executing it very well.
Ruby Coppinger running out a little bit of space. But Kenny coming to challenge just inside the Cork half of the field. That's the 45-metre line, laying it back. Katie Power, Piltown, having a shot that's dropping in and dropping over the ball. Much better.
That was Julianne
Malone, actually, that got the point.
She player of the game last year. Really young player, really good. Had a great game last year. That'll settle Kilkenny there now. 2 points after 20 minutes.
All-star centre half forward last year, Julianne Malone, in her very first season. More like it from the champions. Megan Farrell comes away with it, being pursued by Emer O'Sullivan. Rena Buckley is underneath this, cleverly knocking it down for Chloe Sigerson. Rena is there again to help the killer player. And it's Rena that comes away with it from Inniscarra, leading by example. She's played in most positions, midfield, wing back, and now full back in this All-Ireland final.
She's an excellent player. She can so versatile, both in camogie and football. She can play in every position.
9 All-Stars between camogie and football. Going for her 7th All-Ireland camogie medal. Chloe Sigerson taking the free. Hannah Looney is battling down to number 13 for Cork. Niamh McCarthy is there too, but it's Kilkenny to come away with it. The intended hand pass comes over for as Julianne Malone. Much better out of Kilkenny. Megan Farrell using the short grip, and now Kilkenny go long, which is a good idea. Ball skids off the surface. Libby Hoppinger goes back to gather it. Intended pass just about reaching Jim O'Connor. Short grip again for as Aisling Thompson. Milton player sends it across. Nice turn. Good play by Orla Cronin. Being pursued by Ann Dalton, knocking it away. Goes back to gather. Not a good in the middle. Aisling Dunphy vacuums up and sends it down towards Denise Gall. On her shoulder, right beside her, is the Kilkenny captain Anna Farrell. Lays it off. Coming through the middle is Katie Power. She's on the Cork 45 and she's hitting it. And Aoife Murray saw that nobody was coming in and put the hurley up. Good goalkeeping. Over for Aisling Thompson. Not even a point being given away in Croke Park.
No, that's where Kilkenny are going to, you know, they really do need to get a forward inside in that square.
And I stated again, I know Jill and I have been saying it, but Kilkenny are actually playing with a very strong wind. But to be honest with you, their shape is a little bit strange. They've lost their shape as such, because every time the ball goes in, as you can see, it's going to a player in a red and white jersey. This time it's a black and amber, and the ball is put in under pressure, and the ball is read wide off the stick of Miriam Walsh. There was an opportunity a little bit earlier, and this is the ball dropping in.
You can see, yeah, you can see there's no Kilkenny within 30 yards of the Cork goal.
Katie Power might be disappointed, but the inside line is non-existent, and that's why Aoife Murray had all the time in the world to put the hurley up as the slipper went over the bar, because she knew nobody was around her. Here's Amy O'Connor. Just to bring you up on the weather forecast, we had torrential rain, now we've sunshine. And I'm usually an optimist on the glass half full, but the rain was bad, but now we can hardly see the players down at the Davin end with the sunshine glaring in here. Never happy, yes, I agree. That's what my director was saying. Thank you, Kevin.
I prefer the sunshine than the rain.
Yes, so would I, yeah. Ball is in the middle of the field, and Pamela Mackey is in there. Battling hard for Cork. Denise Gall has arrived. She's the number 12 jersey there. Referee waiting to see what happens. And it's Megan Farrell that gets the ball out. Not very far. And eventually the referee blows the whistle, and it's a free for Kilkenny. 24 minutes gone. It's points to 2. And in case you've just joined us here in the Sunday Game Live, let me tell you that overall, I think Jill Horan, you'd agree with me, Cork being the better team.
Yeah, it seemed that way, Marty. Yeah, they've settled more into it. The scores seem to be coming a lot easier to Cork. Their forward lines, particularly Orla Cronin and Amy O'Connor, are really coming into it. Katrina Mackey got a good score as well. So, yeah, Cork's forwards are doing a lot more damage than Kilkenny's forwards at the moment.
Aoife Murray comes off a goal line and rather unusually bats it away. But it works. And if it works and it's cleared on the line, it's a job well done. Little turn by Emer O'Sullivan. Lovely speed, uses the short grip, knew that she could be hooked down towards Hannah Looney. Battling there with Grace Walsh. It's an interesting tussle that will go on, I'm sure, all afternoon. And Kilkenny come away with it once more. Ball into the space. Lena Buckley showing that she has that football skill still. Kilkenny try and create an opportunity, but it's a waste of possession. Jim O'Connor has all the time in the world to gather it, just inside her own 45-metre line. And against the wind goes for a diagonal ball into space, but there's nobody there. Ann Dalton from St. Loch-Dons is there. 209 player of the year. It really is a superb player. It's going to be sideline ball.
Yeah, Ann normally picks out players and uses the ball very well, but she's finding it very difficult to find any Kilkenny forwards free.
Roseanne Downey, a little bit concerned, I'm sure, with the performance of this first half. 4 minutes to the break, or a little bit more. It's always tight. Defences usually dominate Cork and Kilkenny games, and this is no different. But considering the strength of the breeze, which has eased right now with the sunshine coming out, as Katrina Mackey tries to get inside the cover. Good play, lovely skill, has to use the hurley. It comes back off the post, and Kilkenny are there in numbers. Good play, comes out from Grace Walsh as far as Kilkenny come away with it, but not very far. Aisling Thompson waiting for it is Pamela Mackey, just inside her own half of the field. Ball knocked down. Good battle for possession, and the battle won on this occasion by Aisling Dunphy ahead of Katrina Mackey.
Yeah, Katrina just got her hurley caught in and around the neck.
She was a bit unlucky here, Jill.
Yeah, really good skill. You know, she couldn't catch the ball, so she had to play it off the hurley. She was unlucky and it hit the post.
Kilkenny into the attack. Bring it back outside. Good work on this occasion by Danielle Morrissey, but the hand pass goes astray and picked up by Emer O'Sullivan. Look at that. Brilliant skill. Schlitter glued to the hurley. Lovely stick work inside. And Kilkenny out there again. They may be conceding scores 5 times, but they really are working so hard to keep their hopes and dreams alive of doing 2 in a row. Julianne Malone, Mullinavat. Here's an opportunity that is going to the right and wide. And much as we compliment the Kilkenny defence, we also have to say the same about Cork, as Denise Goal was put under pressure here.
Yeah, I think actually Thompson actually got a hook, really good hook as well, to put Denise off.
28.5 minutes gone in the first half of this All-Ireland final. And Cork now just haven't scored since the 16th minute. And one senses Kilkenny are getting on a lot more ball. Julianne Malone, Aoife Murray decides to come off her goal line. She has the support of Pamela Mackey to her immediate right. Here's Pamela. Ends up with Rena Buckley. Good play by Cork. Solid and confident. There's Emer O'Sullivan. Loves the solo. Didn't realise she was going to be hooked. And compliments again to Kilkenny, who never give up the chase. Another stalemate between the 45 and 65 metre line. Kilkenny half of the field. Referee gives the free correctly. This is a great piece of play, isn't it?
Yeah, I think Katie Power got back, made a great run to track Emer Sullivan. Once Emer Sullivan gets going, it's very, very hard to catch her. But Katie Power got there, and I don't think Emer realised she was going to get hooked.
No, because I've seen her use the short grip so much, so she can't be hooked. I didn't hear Katie Power was arriving. At least 2 minutes. It's been announced by Jerry Grogan here on the public address here in Croke Park. 1 minute, I think it's what he said. So the ball comes down towards left half forward Orla Cotter, and the ball goes out over the sideline ball for Kilkenny.
Orla Cotter has been very quiet the first half. You know, she had a fantastic performance in the semi-final, and by her standards now, she wouldn't have gotten on the ball an awful lot in the first half. So she'll be looking to get on the ball a lot more in the second half.
Half an hour now played, and that statistic I just gave you a moment ago, Cork haven't scored since the 16th minute, will be a bit of concern to Paddy Murray.
Yeah, well, it was the same that happened actually in the semi-final. They went I think 28
minutes.
Yeah, 28 minutes against Galway without scoring, and Katrina Mackey got a score in the last minute to kind of give them the 3-point win. It'd be worrying, but listen, you can see that they're on top on all positions. Kilkenny's backs are renowned for their work rate, and they've just been doing very well.
Chloe Sigerson did the hard work, gave it far as Rena Buckley, who in turn gave it to Libby Coppinger, and the referee Owen Elliott blows the half-time whistle, and Downey, the Kilkenny manager, will be happy to get her team into the dressing room at half-time. 2 wonderful points by Amy O'Connor from the St. Vincent's Club on the north side of Cork City. She certainly has been sparkling form. But here in Croke Park, half-time score, Cork 5 points, Kilkenny 2. Don't go away, we'll be right back.
Insurance, supporting squads across Ireland and proud sponsors of the Liberty Insurance Camogie Championship. Liberty Insurance, supporting squads across Ireland and proud sponsors of the Liberty Insurance Camogie Championship.
It's been mostly Cork pumping the air and also finding the scoreboard in the opening stages of the 2017 All-Ireland Camogie final. That is why they are on top at half-time. Only 7 points scored between the two sides in this opening 30 minutes. Cork 5 points, Kilkenny 2, in front of an attendance of just 20,438, which is pretty disappointing, it has to be said. And there's no doubt, obviously, Cork are going to be the happier side at half-time. Are you surprised just how on top they were in that opening half?
They started a lot better, but I suppose we all saw all the positional changes in Kilkenny and Cork. We were all writing here. I saw written writing down all the changes. You know, the tactics straight away went into play, and I suppose it's been very much the two defences have gotten top. But it's very low scoring for, I suppose, Kilkenny and Cork. You know, what we've come to expect from these both sides. I mean, 3 scores from play, Cork, only 1 from play in Kilkenny's side. But Cork certainly came out of the traps a lot faster. They were a lot sharper. They worked the ball up much better. And I suppose really, you know, we were talking about it here offline. Cork, the way they're setting up inside, they're almost like in a linear fashion, and then they're spraying the ball out, the breaking ball out the wing, seems to be suiting them a lot better than Kilkenny. Kilkenny seem to be struggling to find space up front.
Yeah, I mean, they have only got 5 points, but they are crucial points because they have them 3 in front. Most of them came early on.
Yeah, we saw 2 great scores from Amy O'Connor. We saw 1 from Orla Cronin, a free from Orla Cotter. And Mackie as well, so that's the first one there from Amy. So, you know, they've 4 forwards on the scoreboard versus only 2 from Kilkenny. So they definitely got off to a stronger start than Kilkenny, and they seem to be more composed on the ball, and they're finding each other much more, you know, better than Kilkenny are. Kilkenny I've noticed are giving a lot of ball away to the opposition. Whereas that's not the case with Cork. And here you see a great score as well. So you've Mackie picking up and striking from far out and over the bar. So a great striker of the ball.
Given the amount of possession that had and the amount of territory they have, has the Kilkenny defence actually managed fairly well to keep them to the 5 points?
Yeah, I think overall when you look at the possession that Cork have had, Kilkenny have gotten in some crucial hooks and blocks, and it's probably more the distribution of that ball then to the forwards that's letting them down. Here we see Anne Dalton working it out through Megan Farrell. That ball was actually turned over, that clearance went straight to a Cork player and back down on top of them again. Here was a great block. You have Colette Dormer and Anne Dalton both covering over one another, and Megan Farrell again picking up the breaks. Here we see Orla Cronin straight through on goal maybe. Megan Farrell forces her out. I think eventually gave away a free there, but she had the hard work done tracking back. Davina Tobin is having a great game as regards flicks and steals off the hurl from Cork players, and Kilkenny are breaking down the Cork attack inside, but it's the transition from that then to the forwards. When the back is breaking out with the ball, they're looking up, but there's no space. Cork have their players back in the space. All the Kilkenny forwards are picked up, and there's nobody making those runs to look for the ball. So Kilkenny are struggling in that, and it's not something you'd normally see. I think a lot of it is down to the work that Orla Cronin is doing on Anne Dalton at centre forward. Yeah. Anne Dalton has her hands full with Orla Cronin at the minute. She's not getting the chance to play that free role that she loves to play so much. So Anne Dalton will need to get on more ball to get that distribution of the ball better into the Kilkenny forwards, I think, from the second half.
And this is something we've heard all summer, isn't it, in regards to when a team plays as a sweeper. We see it with the Waterford hurlers. Everybody says, why doesn't somebody just mark Taig de Burka? But that is what is happening, obviously.
Yeah, it is, and Orla Cronin is winning a lot of balls. She's a great ball winner, and she's able to score. She's a point in the first half, but she's fast too, so when she gets the ball, she's a danger. So before, maybe up to this, Anne Dalton could afford to give a centre forward maybe a step or two on her and still read the play and get there, but you can't afford to do that with Orla Cronin, and she's causing Dalton a lot of problems there today, and hence Cork are on the front foot.
What do you make of Cork's puck-out policy?
I suppose really like, you know, a day like today when nerves are at their highest, you can see here it was the first puck out of short, and like that only there was no Kilkenny player inside, you know, 30 yards. That could have been a different story. The exact same thing here, out to the cornerback, and like that, you know, she takes the ball on the run and is dispossessed. You know, luckily for Cork, they ended up clearing that ball, and I suppose Gemma came across then again, but here you can see, quick ball, they actually turned it over, and then there was a score from Katie Power. Like, to me, it's an unnecessary score to give away.
Are you blaming the puck out, or are you blaming what they do once they get the ball in hand?
Well, I just think, to be honest with you, like, I can understand the point that, you know, Aoife's taking the ball in the first time and she's hitting it longer, but Aoife has such a brilliant puck out anyway that she can get it down well into the, I suppose, the danger zone. I would mind to be going direct sometimes, but it does seem to be a ply, and like, I mean, thankfully, you know, we didn't actually get any goals left in there now, but going long, going direct, I think is what needs to do in the second half.
Okay, well, it hasn't been high scoring, but it's certainly been intriguing, this 2017 final. Let's see what happens in the second half. That's up next.
Liberty Insurance, supporting squads across Ireland and proud sponsors of the Liberty Insurance Camogie Championship. Liberty Insurance, supporting squads across Ireland and proud sponsors of the Liberty Insurance Camogie Championship.
Welcome back. Cork leading 5 points to 2 in this final at half-time. Aisling, it's been a trademark of Kilkenny under Anne Downey to flood the defence and only leave a couple of players up front. Why is it they're having issues with their distribution today?
I just am very blown away by the fact that they are giving a lot of ball away to Cork. You see here a pass and go straight over to Jem O'Connor. You know, and that was an opportunity for a point. In the first half, we saw a lot of ball being hit up into Chloe Sigerson. She's the free player, and it goes straight up into her. So they're not as composed, they're not looking up, they're not finding each other as well as Cork are.
But this is the way they always play, isn't it?
Well, no, they're usually like well able to find each other.
Except that they find it, but I mean, they're set up the same way with the few players up ahead.
Yeah, so I think like as bad now as Kilkenny are playing, they've only 2 points scored in the scoreboard. As much as possession that Cork have, you'd be frustrated going in.
There's a lot of pressure though coming from Cork on there, you know, and I think that's probably unnerving them a little bit as well. Like they're kind of, Cork are doing to Kilkenny what Kilkenny did to them 12 months ago. They're not giving them the time of the ball, and they're probably a little bit upset then, which is actually causing them to, I suppose, redistribute it in the wrong fashion.
Like Michelle Quilty is coming on for this second half. She's coming on instead of Danielle Morrissey. What difference should that make? Is that in relation to that?
I suppose Danielle Morrissey on it first year on the senior team would have had a great year so far. Big stage maybe. Michelle Quilty is well used to the big day. She captained Kilkenny here last year, so the stage should be no problem for Michelle, and she's well capable of getting a couple of points and sneaking in for a goal or two, so it'll bring a little bit more experience maybe to the Kilkenny full forward line, and hopefully maybe the confidence to make those runs to be in the position for the ball to be distributed up to her.
Yeah, just the 3 points in it, but it is Cork who have the advantage. Let's head back for the second half. It's back over to Jill and Marty.
Thanks very much, Joanne. Yes, that one change on the Kilkenny team, Michelle Quilty, who was last year's All-Ireland winning captain and All-Star player as well. She comes on for this second half, and the one change that Anne Downey has produced at half-time. And wonderful atmosphere, great tension, of course, amongst the supporters as they look forward to the second half. Jill Horan is with me, and we're about to start, I think, this second half. But not really surprised that Michelle Quilty is on, Jill?
No, definitely not. Her experience from last year, she scored a fantastic goal as well in the final last year. So I'd say she'll actually play closer into the goal. You'd hope that she'd sit in front of Marie Walsh and bring a bit more experience to the full forward line.
So the second half is underway. This is Megan Farrell going forward and straight over the ball. Well, they're setting out their stall early.
I was about to say, there you go. That's the reaction now that Anne Downey probably would have wanted from her team. Straight through, great score to start off the second half with.
It's the business end of this All-Ireland Championship. It's the second half, and Kilkenny, the All-Ireland champions, now really have to produce it in the second half, but they're setting out their business plan very early. Great point by Megan Farrell. And already they seem to be playing with greater purpose. Aisling Dunphy in there, so too is Megan Farrell again, having already scored a point, cutting inside, using the short grip, better hands, as that goes just to the left and wide. In fact, yes, the umpire confirming it rather reluctantly, but it is wide, off the stick of Anna Farrell. The Farrell sisters combining there.
Yeah, Megan will now hopefully try and push up into the forward line a bit more. She was very defensive in the first half, which should be more natural attacking midfielder, so should see her now attack more in the second half.
This is Orla Cronin dropping this one in. And is going over the bar. Well, she scored 2 points in this All-Ireland final, but both of them are absolutely drenched in quality and class. Watch this. Front of the Hogan stand, inside the post. Brilliant.
Fantastic score, yeah. She's really coming into her own today. Had quite enough semi-final to her standards, but really after stepping up to the mark here in the final.
Orla Cotter skipping away, but not for very long. Aisling Dunphy is there for Kilkenny, but it's Kilkenny that have the possession. It's Anne Dalton coming away with it, giving it into the centre. It's Megan Farrell again. Cork defence reacting to the challenge. Laura Tracy chasing after this. Good work by Miriam Walsh, who puts the pressure on. Tracy managed to kick it away. Aisling Thompson is there. Number 9 on her back, which is playing very deep defensively in this start of the second half. In comes Orla Cronin, but it's Kilkenny that again have the slither, waiting patiently for it is Katie Power, and that is over the bar. Much better, Kilkenny.
Yeah, you can even see Anne Dalton has even pushed up, moved up as well, and Megan Farrell, great vision over to see Katie Power to put it up between the posts.
And remember, Kilkenny playing against the wind, but they've played better in the opening 3 minutes of the second half than they did for most of the first half.
Yeah, they're come out with a real purpose now in the second half. There's a Cork defender down, I think Laura Tracy, yeah.
And she's been playing really well in the corner. She would be a huge loss. She's a trainee nurse in WIT. And of course, she played with a lot of the Kilkenny players in the Ashburn Cup. Certainly Anne Downey must be well pleased with the start of the second half. They're playing with a lot more passion and purpose, led by Katie Power, and before that a great point by Megan Farrell.
Yeah, you'd see now Aoife using the wind at her back now to get the more direct puck out into the forward line.
Ball comes all the way down for Orla Cronin. Good work by Anne Dalton. Quick hands laying it off. Nice stick work by Shelley Farrell. Nice turn as well. Still Shelley Farrell. And the referee, Owen Elliott, blowing his whistle and saying that Farrell was fouled. So it's a free in for Kilkenny.
Yeah, he gave her advantage, see how if she was going to progress and score, but yeah, you could see a bit of a tug on the shorts and pulled it back for a free.
Real ball of energy and lovely wrists and great stylish. And I remember last year she scored an absolute beauty, cracker.
Yeah, no, the Farrell sisters are real lively, really skillful players, a handful.
Denise Cole scored 2 points in the All-Ireland semi-final against Dublin, goes for a short ball this time. It's Shelley Farrell who's sending this over the crossbar. It's her first point in the All-Ireland final, and it's a good one.
Yeah, it's great vision by Denise. She didn't think that she had the distance, particularly against the wind, so Cork would be disappointed that they didn't pick Shelley up there in the middle.
Little 1-2 here between Rena Buckley and Aoife Murray. Goalkeeper goes for distance. And one senses already, despite the fact that Kilkenny are playing against the wind, that they're playing with far greater purpose.
Yeah, and Dalton is really pulling the strings here now. She's pushed up and
showing some nice vision. Good stick work, but the effort at a point or dropping it in near the goals was just a little bit wayward.
Yeah,
Ball is wide. It's Kilkenny's 5th wide of the game.
Yeah, she put up her hand straight away, apologising to the forwards. She should have hit that into the full forward line.
Paddy Murray must be a little bit concerned. Good first half against the wind. Tactically, they seem to get it right. The second half, Kilkenny are showing why they won the All-Ireland this day 12 months ago. Emer O'Sullivan. Good ball up for Orla Cronin. And Dalton was coming in to challenge. Now it's Aisling Dunphy's responsibility. Nice stick work. Again by Cronin. Into the centre. Aisling Thompson knew that the Kilkenny challenge was moving. And she still had a go. The ball is wide. That's Cork's 3rd wide of the game. Despite the conditions, you know, the accuracy of the wide tally isn't increasing substantially.
Yeah, there was actually 2 or 3 Cork players that could have taken that on. The Kilkenny backline had dropped back too far, and there was a three Cork girls that could have taken that on as a score, but Aisling just pulled it wide.
And the Kavanagh's tuck out is straight down the middle. Going forward is Megan Farrell. And that is going. Yeah, that is a beautiful point. Megan Farrell with her 2nd point in this All-Ireland final, showing leadership and quality play.
Yeah, she's really coming into this second half. Emer Sullivan needs to keep a bit better eye on her.
The youngest of the 3 sisters on the pitch here in Croke Park, and they're level in GA headquarters for the very first time. And that will give the All-Ireland champions huge confidence, and a worry for Aisling Thompson and her teammates, because they are playing with the wind. I'll keep saying it, but Kilkenny have come out and shown a lot of determination, a lot of class. Can they maintain it? This is Aisling Dunphy. Great pressure by Orla Cotter. Sideline ball to Cork. On her first All-Star 2 years ago, Aisling Thompson. Several All-Ireland club medals with one of the finest clubs in the country, Milford. North Cork. And it's Kilkenny, however, that gained the possession from the sliotar. Diagonal ball into space. Trouble for Cork. It's Shelley. Farrell giving it back outside. Referee has blown his whistle, and he's given a free in. There was a tug of the jersey. That's what he's indicating off camera. And this is exactly what happened as Shelley Farrell came in.
Yeah, you could see definitely in the second half, the Kilkenny midfield and half-back line are picking out their forwards a lot better. Their Kilkenny forward line are starting deeper, making those diagonal runs.
Denise lifts and strikes, scores her 2nd point of the game. And this game is turning around.
First time Kilkenny are winning.
First time in front. Yeah. Start of the second half, 4 minutes gone. It's now 7 points to 6. Tuck out from Aoife Murray from Clodagh. Down towards Aisling Thompson. The wind velocity increasing once again, favouring Cork. 50-50 ball. Won on this occasion by Orla Cronin. Did well here, good hands. Here comes the push.
Yeah, really well. First time ball into the hand. Get a bit of a shoulder into the back for herself.
Orla Cotter, secondary school teacher in Middleton College, teaches PE and Irish. Lifting this. This is actually an important free for Cork because it'll give them a little bit of confidence. It took them a while to settle their level for the 2nd time here in Croke Park. 7 points Cork, 7 points Kilkenny.
Yeah, they'll really need Orla to get into the game a bit more. Like I said, in the semi-final, she was really the one that stood up and took the game to Galway. So for Cork to win this, they really do need her to get more into the game.
Stalemate in the middle of the pitch. Aisling Thompson doesn't have a hurley, but she has determination. Knocked away by Orla Cronin, scooped away, a nice pick up as well, and skips away from the challenge. Ball into the full forward line, and Hannah Looney. Clever play by the corner forward. He's being well marked, however. Didn't really get full power into the shot. Grace Welsh comes away for it. Far as Denise Goal. Nice stick work, nice control. Michelle Quilty knocked away, picked up in turn by Katie Power. Back again for as Michelle Quilty, and is just going outside the post and wide. Not very far away, but wide at the end of it all. Took out from Aoife Murray. Down for as Chloe Sigerson. Gets away from the first challenge, being provided by Julia Malone. Down towards Orla Cronin. Running forward is Amy O'Connor, scored 2 points in the first half. Better combination, in for Neil McCarthy, getting away for the very first time. Oh, great defending, Kilkenny. Good work by the Kilkenny defence, but Cork are still alive with the slither. Back out first, Katrina Mackey gives it a chance. Ball is floating in. Emma Kavanagh leaps up and puts it over the bar. Good goalkeeping by Kavanagh. Good work by Cork.
Yeah, really good score. They actually had a goal chance there, but it was really good defending by Kilkenny. Got across and blocked it, blocked the full forward, and even McCarthy for, yeah, really good defending there. But Cork did very well then to get a point out of it.
It was the first opportunity in this match, potentially, for a Cork goal.
Yeah, for either team, actually.
For either team, I agree, yeah. But it was great defending here by Kilkenny. Certainly
I think Colette Dormer was feeling the worst for it. She got the block in there at the end, so I'd say she's a bit sore from it.
Good work by Colette Dormer. Compliments to her.
Emma Kavanagh has the sun in her eyes.
That's why that ball was creeping in just under the crossbar. She did well to deflect Orla Cronin's effort going over the bar. Orla Cronin, by the way, has now scored 3 points from play. Meanwhile, it is Davina Toba going forward. Gemma O'Connor is back there. Great block down on this occasion by Miriam Welsh. Miriam Welsh, they say down Kilkenny way. Ball comes back out into the middle of the field. Kilkenny queuing up for it here. Chance by Denise Goal. Dropping it in. Aoife Murray is coming off the goal line. Backs it away. Danger knocked on. It's Julianne Malone turning and floating this straight between the post and over the bar. The All-Ireland champions are indeed showing their class. They've stepped up a gear from first to fourth in the second half.
But you can see, Marty, like they had 3 or 4 inside the full forward line. When that ball came in, they challenged, you know, Aoife but didn't have time to take the ball and pick out a Cork player. She was under pressure, and that led to a score. So they really do need to keep the pressure on Cork.
Rena Buckley comes away with it. As Pamela Mackey, who's been operating at centre half back in this All-Ireland final. Laying it back as Jim O'Connor keeps it low down towards Amy O'Connor. Aisling Dunphy is with her. Scooped away. Emer O'Sullivan trying to gather it. Denise Goal. Katrina Mackey. There's a chop down there, and the referee clearly indicating off camera and saying that this is a Cork free.
Yeah, she chopped down there. She swung a bit wild. Aoife Murray's coming out from the goal to see can she get this either into the danger zone or over the bar with the wind at her back.
Aoife Murray is coming all the way out the field to take this free. 20,438 official attendance here in Croke Park, this All-Ireland final. Strength of the breeze you can see in Aoife's jersey as she lifts on the Cork 65. It's dropping in just to the right of the posts and wide. 3 times level. Brian Cody, Kilkenny manager, All-Ireland winning manager so many times. watching anxiously, hoping that his county can win their 14th All-Ireland title here today. Megan Farrell is battling hard, getting away ahead of Amy O'Connor on this occasion. Sideline ball is going to go to Kilkenny. And Megan Farrell has scored 2 fine points in this match, but more importantly has really worked so hard. It's just the shoulder, you can see the shoulder just colliding with her face mask there, and Megan coming out the worst of it.
Yeah, Kilkenny's midfield are getting on top now. The two sisters, Megan and Anna, are putting it up to Emer and Aisling. Aisling's very defensive and has always been very defensive. She needs to start marking the two girls because, as you said, Megan is after scoring 2 great points, and Anna's imposing herself as well on this second half.
But not alone just her scoring, it's her work rate, and phenomenal. She's just checking that the teeth are okay. Thankfully, I think they are. So Megan is going to put back on the helmet, get back into the game. I love her determination and passion. She really has worked hard. For Paddy Murray from Clodove, it's a little bit of a concern because they were doing well in the first half, but the All-Ireland champions certainly have come to terms with the tactics employed by Cork and playing a lot better in this second half. Kenny scoring double the amount of Cork in this second half, 6 points to 3 in terms of the second half scores, and it's Kilkenny that come again going forward. Taking too many steps, Davina Tobin, free for Cork. Sort of freeze that they really shouldn't be conceding. It's a simple opportunity for Cork, but Kilkenny come to terms with that free. Good work again by Anne Dalton. And her emergence as a central figure in this second half, Jill, I would suggest is a vital factor, because the way the Cork game plan was going, they were kind of bypassing her, but not in the second half.
Yeah, no, she's really after coming into it now in the second half and pulling the strings.
Ball is dropping in. Laura Tracy took control of the matter. Aoife Murray was coming off her goal line. Aisling Thompson scoops it away. Thompson is fouled by Katie Power. And that's going to be a free for Cork, just inside their own half of the field.
Yeah, she just collided. She was going in for the ball, and Aisling just scooped it away just before Julianne got there and blocked off her path.
Referee just having a word with Michelle Quilting, who's anxious to make an impact in this second half and getting on quite an amount of ball.
I think he's
referee also having another word with another Kilkenny player.
I'd say he got it wrong, actually. I'd say he mistakenly talked to Michelle first and then realised that it wasn't her who actually did the tackle, and it was actually Julianne, so he went.
A yellow card for Julianne Malone. Meanwhile, Cork take the free. They've also gained a sideline ball from that. Still level, 8 points each. The clock ticking towards the magic 60th minute. Would we have a replay in this match, I wonder?
Intermediate and senior.
Stalemate just inside the Kilkenny half of the field, inside their own 45. And again, it's Anne Dalton that's coming away with it. She's stopped in her tracks. Kilkenny, Julianne Malone going forward. Scored 2 invaluable points in this All-Ireland final. The upper was half blocked. Jim O'Connor says, I'll deal with it. Whips it out for Emer O'Sullivan in space. Looks around to see who's available. Kilkenny first to react. Good work by Grace Welch. Sending it up towards corner forward. And just happened to slip. That's Michelle Quilty. Aisling Thompson. Over towards Orla Cronin. has the time to gather it before Megan Farrell arrives in. And Dalton again. No other option but to tuck the ball into space. The reinforcements get there. Megan Farrell was being fouled, and it's a free for Kilkenny. Change in the Cork team.
Yeah, Hannah Looney's going off there now for...
Lauren Homan from St. Vincent's is the player that's coming on. And as Jill says, Hannah Looney is the player that's making way.
A quiet day today. Grace Walsh has been getting out in front of Hannah the majority of the game, so I'd say that's why she's been taken off.
Free is taken. Ball into the middle. Julianne Malone again, laying it off. Good block down on this occasion. Brave play by Aisling Thompson. The referee blows the whistle. Aisling is trying to encourage her players around her and her teammates to give a little bit more.
Yeah, this is very brave of her, catching the ball and turning out and
she really is
clearing
a
her
superb
lines.
player, isn't she?
Yeah, she really is, yeah. Very defensive. I'd like to see her push up now a small bit more. Just, you know, the game is in the melting pot now. It's the next few minutes now. It's going to determine who's going to come out on top here. And having her back as an extra player, you know, isn't ideal. Cork really do need to push up a bit on the Kilkenny forwards.
Kilkenny find themselves under a little bit of pressure. Megan Farrell giving it out. Farrell's Denise goal. 50-50 ball won by Pamela Mackey. Giving it back Farrell's Laura Tracy. Into the centre. Orla Cronin. 3 points in play in this All-Ireland final. Pass just goes a little bit astray, goes to ground. Emer O'Sullivan recovered well. Very well. Can she finish? Ball is dropping in. The ball is wide. Fifth wide of the game for Cork. 53.5 minutes gone. Still level. 8 points each. And the tension palpable. You can feel it around the ground here now.
She'll be disappointed with that miss.
Ball knocked away. Batted down cleverly. Picked up on this occasion by Megan Farrell. There's her club Thomastown. Denise Goal from Windgap going to take this. Here Callan. In the middle of the field. It's she pocketed the ball. Aoife Murray was assertive, knocked it away. Fires Aisling Thompson. Stepping away from the challenge. Nice stick work, but she's being pursued. In comes Julianne Malone. Emer O'Sullivan. 3 Kilkenny cats around her. Nowhere to go. Lays it back. Tremendous tenacity and determination by Kilkenny when they don't have the slipper. Good work again by Anne Dalton. Picked up by Miriam Walsh. Trying to get away from the shackles of the Cork defence. Hits the ball and hits a beauty. It's Miriam Walsh's first point in this All-Ireland final. And the Tullaroan star, look what she did here. Get away from 2 players double marking her and still scored. Well done, Miriam Welch.
Exactly what Kilkenny needed. Settled them, they hadn't scored in a while, so that's a really, really good score.
Orla Cronin picked up an injury there. Obviously, back of the leg there causing a problem, but hopefully she'll be able to continue on.
Yeah, she was down since actually that first play when Emer O'Sullivan hit it wide. She actually went down and she hadn't gotten back up again, but hopefully now she'll be able to continue.
Cork haven't scored in 13 minutes and they need a score now. As Kilkenny go forward with Katie Power, being pursued by Pamela Mackey. Into the centre for Julianne Malone. Julianne Malone dropping a little bit short. Aoife Murray comes off her goal line. Hits it into the middle. Waiting for it patiently is Laura Tracy. And again, look at the hard work of the Kilkenny team as they chase Cork players with possession. Aisling Thompson drives it down into the Kilkenny half of the field. Trying to gather it is Orla Cronin. Emer Sullivan does the hard work, loses the hurley, but puts it into the space. But once again, a Cork player to gather it. And again, Anne Tolton covers the situation. Good work, Kilkenny. Great play by the champions. Driving it into the centre. The game stepped up in tempo. Chasing after this is Michelle Quilty. It's the goalkeeper that has to come off her goal line. And Aoife Murray did so well. So well indeed. Over first, Gemma O'Connor. Getting away from the challenge and inside her own half of the field. Keeps it down in front of the Cusack stand here. And again, it's Anne Dalton sweeping across from the centre half back to the left half back position. There's a chop down on the Kilkenny player. It's a free for the champions as we head towards the 57th minute in this All-Ireland final. Look at the goalkeeper here. Oh, well done, Aoife Murray.
Yeah, she saw the danger coming in. Michelle Quilty was going to get there ahead of her, and she just used her body to get in the way.
Free going to be taken just outside the Kilkenny 45-metre line. Little combination here. Nice little jink inside, leaning onto the left and going to the right. And Dalton almost hooked and chasing after, but Gemma O'Connor comes across to gather and tries to get her pass back prior as Aoife Murray. And Aoife wisely goes for distance, but it's not well directed. Ball comes for us, Megan Farrell. Anna Farrell going forward, captain of Kilkenny, taking a little bit too much out of it on this occasion. Picked up by Pamela Mackey. 1 point between the teams. Heading towards the 58th minute. Ball given away. This time it is Megan Farrell that gathers it, trying to send it down low. Michelle Quilty under a little bit of pressure here. Battling hard, Chloe Sigerson as the wind increases in velocity yet again. Sunshine gone, rain coming. But who has the sliotar? That's the question. Referee waits patiently. Still, ball is alive. It's Katrina Mackey inside her own half of the field. Cork showing a lot of stamina, a lot of character. But can they get an equaliser? We're gone past the 58th minute.
Yeah, you can kind of see that the game is kind of flowing back into Cork's favour now. They're getting on top in defence and they're kind of pushing on. Julianne has gone off there now for...
Julianne Malone has gone off for Kilkenny. And coming onto the field is Kilkenny number 25.
Jenny Reedy. Jenny came on in the semi-final and scored a goal. Great young player. Hopefully now she'll impose herself on this final.
Question is, where will the O'Duffy Cup be this winter and spring? Will it be in Kilkenny? Will it be in Cork? Jenny, confirmation there that Jenny Reddy is the number 25 from Thomascon. But meanwhile, it's Cork that have it. Niamh McCarthy trying to create something for Kilkenny. Their backs to the wall. Listen to the Kilkenny fans roar. Can they do two in a row? What about that for a block down by Niamh McCarthy? And goes again under severe pressure. Cork need the possession. We're into 59 minutes and 23 seconds. Pass goes astray. But Kilkenny, 1, 2, 3, 4 of them around it. Sliotar is bobbling around the place. Katrina Mackey is the only one in the middle there for Cork. They need to try and gather possession here. The Leesiders. Still the ball is available. Still it's alive. And it's Aisling Dunphy that comes away with it. Not for very long as Aisling Thompson comes away. Come in to challenge. Knocked off her hurley yet again. Ball is coming back for Laura Tracy. Orla Cotter into the centre. Gemma O'Connor. It goes for the point from way out the field. Is it on target? The umpire is going for his flag. Gemma O'Connor. The controversy before the game. Would she? Wouldn't she start? Would she play? And one of the greatest players in the game of Camogie steps up to the challenge, shows leadership, belief, and what about that for an equaliser? 60 minutes played. Cork 9 points. Kilkenny 9 points.
If you wanted one player to get the ball, you wanted Gemma O'Connor to get it. And my God, she stand up.
Level for the 4th time. Will we be going to a replay? 5 extra minutes. Now being announced, as you can see on your television screen. In the event of a draw, the replay will be Sunday, October 1st. Don't book your tickets yet, but I have a feeling.
Be a double header with the intermediates.
Here is the equaliser. Will that force this match to a replay? Cork 9 points, Kilkenny 9 points. Might only be 20,400 plus fans here, but they're thoroughly enjoying this intriguing tactical battle between two of the finest teams, two of the best teams in the land in the game of Camogie. As Cork now introduce another substitute. Julia White is coming on as the rain pours down. Goalkeeper Emma Kavanagh takes the puck out. There that's gone off is Chloe Sigurdsson. Who wants it more? Brilliant catch by Ashley Dunn. Sends the ball in towards the corner. Trying to gather it is Miriam Walsh, and the rain comes pouring down. And it's not normal rain, it's sleet. Sideline ball, 6 minutes now of additional time being put on our television screen. Referee indicates it's a Kilkenny free.
Yeah, I think he's actually giving a free. He's saying that pushing the back, which is quite soft, I think.
Advantage to Kilkenny.
Very tight angle for Denise.
She's literally, as you can see, a few meters in from the sideline. Difficult angle. Against the wind, against the rain. She's already scored twice in this All-Ireland final. Lifting, striking, having a go. And the ball is gone to the wrong side of the post.
Very difficult angle for her. Against the wind as well.
Will we all be coming back to Croke Park on the 1st of October? We still have 3.5 minutes to go. Is there a winner here at GAA headquarters? Pulling on the ball, kicking the ball as Denise Cole. Skipped away on this occasion. Comes back. Hefty challenge by Colette Dormer. That's a charge, and that's a free for Cork. It's a battle. It's an All-Ireland final that will be talked about for sheer tension, sheer determination, and loads of skill. That was the charge. Here's the free. Yellow card as well to the cornerback, Colette Dormer.
Yeah, it really has been a game of two defences. Both defences have been outstanding. Such a low-scoring game, 9 points each.
Aoife Murray, goalkeeper, coming all the way out to take this. Just outside her own 65-metre line. Strong wind for her back. She's dropping it in. Connected. Kilkenny under pressure. But it's again Anne Dalton. What a fabulous player. Not hanging about. She's looking for that winning score. Jim O'Connor knocked away. Comes over first. Amy O'Connor. That is it the second time round. Stepping aside is Aisling Thompson. Listen to the roar. Listen to the passion here at Croke Park. Emer O'Sullivan. Double marked on this occasion. They stop her in her tracks. Great work again by Kilkenny. Ball is between the 45 and 65. Kilkenny half of the field. And it's Anne Dalton again. Without her Hurley. Seemed to have possibly fouled possession, but got away with it, and Kilkenny come away into the Cork half of the field. Rena Buckley scooping it up, getting ahead of Miriam Welsh. Buckley, Cork captain, gives it over for Laura Tracy. An All-Ireland medal is at stake. 64 minutes, 47 seconds. A minute and 20 seconds left in this All-Ireland final. Is Gemma O'Connor's equaliser going to force a replay? 64 minutes, heading towards 65. We're now in the 65th minute, and it's Davina Tobin that comes away with it. Pamela Mackey coming in to challenge. Gemma O'Connor pulling on the ball there, trying to scoop it up. But it's Kilkenny that have it once more. Trying to get away with a hand pass. Rena Buckley on the ground waiting for it, and it's Rena Buckley that is fouled, and it's a free. 40 seconds left in Croke Park. You cannot take your eyes off this television screen.
No, the tension is building. Both teams are really going for it now. They don't want to draw. They're both really trying to get that to score. Aoife Murray's telling everyone to go down into the goal mouth now. I'd say it could have been the last puck of the game, I'd say.
Aoife Murray taking the free. Anne Downey along the sideline. She's just outside her own 45-metre line. She's going for it. It's dropping in around the large rectangle. The Kilkenny defenders are there. 65 minutes, make that 66. Is there anything left? There's no discretion. Referee, the ball is given away. Comes first Katrina Mackey. Kilkenny find themselves under severe pressure. They cannot allow her to have a goal. She hits it, and it's gone over the bar. Cork have a winner.
Julia White.
Julia White from Douglas has scored perhaps the winning point in an All-Ireland final. Is there time left for Kilkenny to force this to a replay? Sensational. Jim O'Connor scoring the equaliser. Such a doubtful super sub. Julia White from Douglas coming on and scoring the winner when Kilkenny had possession. How much time is left? 66 minutes and now 43 seconds. And it's Kilkenny that have the possession. Coming away with it is Shelley Farrell. Still Shelley Farrell. Stopped on this occasion. Cork backs are there in numbers. They retain the possession. Comes first Jim O'Connor. Gemma has the ball. The referee is about to blow the full-time whistle. And Cork have won the All-Ireland. Kilkenny have been beaten in the most dramatic of fashions. Jim O'Connor, a legend, and a substitute, Julia White, between them combined to win the All-Ireland and go top of the pile with 27 All-Ireland titles. Coming into this All-Ireland final, level on 26 with Dublin. Right now, Cork are undoubtedly the best team in the land, and they also have won the greatest number of All-Irelands, 27.
God, what a battle. What an absolute battle. God, really didn't see that coming now. Game of two halves, really. Kilkenny really started second half, but just kind of faded and never really could push Cork. Never really looked like they were going to score a goal or take the game to Cork. And Cork, just resilience, got it in the end. And fair play to Julia White. She's been injured. She was starting a few years ago. Really good young player coming through. Got badly injured last year. Didn't feature at all much this year again. And fantastic for her to get the winning score.
And Julia White is being congratulated from Douglas. Just her fifth year on the Cork panel. Won an All-Ireland Senior Colleges B with Christ the King School in Cork. But she is very much a hero here, as well as a Cork team that have come back to win the All-Ireland title. They were beaten in the league final in April, beaten on this day 12 months ago. They were determined not to let it happen a third time. And what a way to win an All-Ireland.
Yeah, absolutely. And listen, it was great for Amy O'Connor, Orla Cronin, two really good forwards that really stood up to the mark today. And, you know, the likes of Katrina Mackey and Orla Cotter, fantastic for them to win another All-Ireland final.
Just a shot there we had of Rena Buckley. She becomes the first player ever in the history of the GAA, that's across men's and women's, to captain two All-Ireland winning teams in different codes. Remarkable. She also wins her 18th All-Ireland medal between Camogie and ladies football. You are looking at a true legend of the game.
Isn't it fantastic? She's such a nice girl off the pitch as well, you know, really unassuming, really genuine, honest player, and you know, it's absolutely fantastic for her to be, you know, #1 in the country for that.
To the tunes of the Bank of the League, it is the final scoreline in Croke 5. Cork, 10 points, Kilkenny 9. Let's go down to the sideline to John Genny.
Well, what a battle royal we had, 10 points to 9, and the scorer of the winning points, substitute Julia White. What were you thinking when you picked the ball up?
I don't know, I was just thinking, just try to find a step or so and just get it over the bar. I don't know, I wasn't really thinking, I just kind of gone on instinct.
6 minutes of added time, looked like we were heading for a replay. What was the feeling like when that ball sailed over the crossbar?
Oh, it's just the best feeling in the world. I couldn't believe it really, but I was just trying to get back out then again because I don't know, he didn't look like he was going to blow it up anytime soon, so trying to get back out there.
You're obviously anxious to get a game, weren't you? What's the feeling like to run out in Croke Park even just to play in a final?
Yeah, I suppose it's tough, like waiting all the time, but I was trying to stay motivated and be patient. We kind of worked on that a lot this year, so I was just looking to take the opportunity when it came.
They look good at half-time. They were, you look good at half-time, 5 points to 2 up. but they came back at you strong in the second half, didn't they?
Yeah, I'd say they just kind of looked a bit shell-shocked at the start, but they kind of reset at half-time, and we knew anyway that they weren't going to be going anywhere. Like, they're too good a team, so we expected, I suppose, a bit of a comeback.
Well, it's time to celebrate, Julia. Off you go. Congratulations on winning score.
Thank you.
What a way to end a match. Obviously hugely disappointing for Kilkenny to lose an All-Ireland final, but to lose it in that manner. Gemma O'Connor, when they needed her, she came really, really strong towards the end of the game. Anna Geary, that is an unbelievable way to win an All-Ireland final, isn't it?
Yeah, and look, the last 12 months these sides have met, there's never been anything between them, and I suppose today was no different. We saw both teams have purple patches, but when Cork needed leaders, they stood tall. Captain Rena Buckley, Gemma O'Connor, Aisling Thompson, you know, they all played their part wonderfully.
Well, the great Rena Buckley is about to accept the cup, her 18th All-Ireland winner, an 18th time as an All-Ireland winner between camogie and football. Marty.
Yes, history, as you say, Joanne. Gemma just being guided up to the steps of the Hogan stand, because the O'Duffy Cup is in fact going to be in Cork for the winter and the spring. Cork, for the 27th time in their history, winning the All-Ireland title. So for Rena Buckley, a momentous moment in the presence of the President of Ireland, Michael D. Higgins. Emer O'Sullivan looking on there. Aoife Murray being congratulated by her brother, the manager. Aoife Murray, the goalkeeper. She was solid as a rock in this All-Ireland final and made some very valuable interceptions and good decision making. So here it is, this is the moment. The President of the Camogie Association, Catherine Neary from Kilkenny, will present the O'Duffy Cup to Rena Buckley from Cork. We honestly thought this might just go to a replay, but a sensational winner.
What can I say? Such a fantastic display of camogie from two wonderful teams. To Kilkenny, commiserations. I know you fought hard to the end, but you were true champions and you fought to the death. Well done, congratulations, and I know you'll be back again here next year. I'd like to thank our referee, Owen Elliott, his linespeople, umpires, and all the officials today for the wonderful job that they have done. Special mention of our sponsors, Liberty Insurance. It's been fantastic working with you in partnership over the last number of years, and I look forward to working with you in the future. It is my great pleasure to present the O'Duffy Cup to the Senior All-Ireland Championship winning captain, Rena Buckley.
This is the moment, the O'Duffy Cup being presented to Rena Buckley, captain of Cork. She wins her 18th All-Ireland medal, goes into the history books as Cork win their 27th All-Ireland Camogie title. History on your television screens.
Uachtarán Héireann, Taoiseach, Uachtarán Cumann Camogie. It's more nor dumsa on Corn Saga, our son Fern Corky. Tá Corny Duffy, ag dul a rash Coshley, don seachtú or is fehan. Bharam Wings goal cúpla duine, ar dúis ar banistóir, tá sé ling istócha le 5 bliain anuas, agus a méid ibre tá déanta ar ina blianta son, tá sé dócraite. Congardicus agus míle buchas, Páda Murray. On Kate Farrella, Nader on Tirum Carta, fairness statistics. Tá sé ling le cúpla bliain anuas, agus éon rud a bhíle déanamh rinne bliana, rinne sé gan stróirbe. Niall Collins, Cogardicus agus míle buchas. Our train Ollie, Cinnamont, tá sé déanta again the Corky Aaron Fark, agus tá sé déanta again is the Corky ar Lína. Gur míle mágad, Kevin Murray. train Ollie physical. Hook sé féin vanin doing a rinne blina. Agus hook sé féin vanin doing a reach enough. Míle buchas Martin O'Brien. Moriella, tá sé ling le fada, agus beag sé ling in up the Céilúra. Mahu David Murray. Gdí Teddy O'Donovan, Sean Cremin, Liam O'Reilly, agus Terry O'Leary, agus Angela Crowley. Míle buchas lads. Gdí Hori, New Ireland Assurance. Division Liv and Eric, Tasha Ling and Melina, agus Tasula Gwing, make sure a rash a reach, some Dublin Shakuing. Mila Buekas Sasoktan Takiakta, Irina Blina, New Ireland Assurance. Come Ragav. Goodie Marion, Mary, Sheila, agus Gachtin Eller and County Board. Tasha Ling Lafada, Arish, or Coma. So, Mila Buekas Kalini, agus Tasulagum Gumin Chief Tan of us, Asania, agus Assembly Not. Come on, Ragav. Good evening, Ray Tour, August of Fern, Bryn Siobhan Jabber, Fad, so Gurmar, good folks. August Erdera, good evening, Fern Kilkenny, Claire Ancrua Vion Ganjot, Agan Sportulig and Own Cana, Tvishov Gahuntuk Mar Champini, August Ghanaian Oris, Big Shiva Rash and Arish on Fleet Cooing. So 3 cheers, the Higan Fern Kilkenny. Hip hip! Hip hip! Hip hip!
Agus an rud goléir Oscailga Orina Buckley, the first woman ever to captain her county to All-Ireland titles in both football and now in Camogie as well. We have analysis next.
Liberty Insurance, supporting squads across Ireland and proud sponsors of the Liberty Insurance Camogie Championship. Liberty Insurance, supporting squads across Ireland and proud sponsors of the Liberty Insurance Camogie Championship.
It looked like we were heading for a second drawn All-Ireland final of the day until Julia White stood up to be counted and snatched the victory for Cork. We know at least one person who was happy with it. Well, maybe a few more. Rena Buckley captaining her side to a Camogie All-Ireland just as she has done in football as well. Aisling, I said about standing up to be counted, and when Cork needed their big players to turn up, that's when it happened.
Totally. Big players, big performance. Like Aisling Thompson was absolutely brilliant in the second half. In the first half, she worked hard, hooks and blocks, but in the second half, her distribution of the ball and the balls that she won were brilliant. You see her here, like, look at that for a catch and a knock, and she still, you know, drives on. And then, of course, like, who better do you want to get an equalising point? Only the ball given to Gemma O'Connor. Look how far out she is. Such composure. And she strikes it over the bar. And before that, she had a quiet game. Her impact was actually quite minimal in the game, you would say. But you want her to be the one that has the ball at the last.
And that's stark contrast there. It was like Megan Farrell, you know, that pass that she was trying to find Dan Dalton. Orla Cotter intercepts it. Pass to Trina Mackey, Julie White. What a score. But one thing I will say as well, it was Orla Cotter. It was like the Johnny Cohen, Joe Canning incident in the All-Ireland semi-final. Orla Cotter saw that Gemma was free and gave her a short stick pass for that wonderful point that Gemma scored. So again, another leader, and I suppose the composure was crucial there, and that was really the difference between the two teams, as we saw.
Yeah, brilliant win from Cork, Elaine, but obviously a very difficult way for Kilkenny to finish. But I have a feeling this isn't the last we'll see of this rivalry.
No, I think it's a rivalry that's set to go on and on. But yeah, a tough way to lose a match, I suppose. It was such a low-scoring game. It was going to be crucial. The point either way was going to be crucial in the end, and a couple of small things coming near the end. And Dalton had a free that she tried to take quickly. It was turned over. Megan Farrell was in possession of that ball coming out, and it was turned over. So it's a few small things.
Okay, it wasn't again hugely a high-scoring game, but it was so thrilling and so intriguing. It's all we have time for. My thanks to Anna, to Aisling and to Elaine for the company today. Do make sure you join Des tonight for more highlights and analysis on the announcement of today's senior player of the match from the All-Ireland Final 2017. That's on RTÉ2 from 9:30. But for now, from all of us here, bye-bye.
Liberty Insurance, supporting squads across Ireland. And proud sponsor